failing the grade. As U.S. President George W. Bush prepares to leave office, widespread opinion of his reign has not been kind.
Welcome back. You're watching World Insight. Let's move now to our next story. He may have graduated from Yale and Harvard, but many people have been calling him a Texan cowboy. Ever since he took office, he's been leading with a startling free market intervention. He promised a humble foreign policy before he was sworn in, but he exits with wars in both Iraq and Afghanistan. He is, of course, George Walker Bush, the 43rd President of the United States. As he enters his final days in the White House, we take an unvarnished review of his presidency.
For George W. Bush, it's likely his last time to speak to the nation as president during prime-time network television. Bush took this opportunity to rate his 8-year record.
Yet I've always acted with the best interests of our country in mind. I have followed my conscience and done what I thought was right.
Bush's time in the White House was like riding a roller coaster.
Do solemnly swear.
I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully
8 months after taking office, Bush's popularity hit 90% in an opinion poll. 3 months before leaving office, however, his popularity was at 25%. Bush inherited 1% GDP, but the number turned to a deficit of more than 2% last year. He announced mission accomplished just 40 days after the Iraq invasion in 2003.
Combat operations in Iraq have ended.
During his final press conference on Tuesday, Bush admitted that he made a mistake.
Clearly, putting a mission accomplished on an aircraft carrier was a mistake.
More importantly, the key rationale for invading Iraq ended up contrary to reality.
Not having weapons of mass destruction was a significant disappointment.
Bush's admission came too late to save the lives of more than 4,200 Americans and tens of thousands of Iraqis.
The fact that he kept that policy going in the light of evidence that it wasn't working is really a failure, and he looks bullying, inflexible, and the vision looks overly simplistic and probably incorrect.
Bush has acknowledged that some of his actions in response to 9/11 have been controversial, but he stands by them, insisting that his actions were necessary to ensure a safer America.
But there can be little debate about the results. America has gone more than 7 years without another terrorist attack on our soil.
Chinese analyst Yuan Peng explains why Bush steadfastly refused to alter his course despite critics at home and abroad.
Bush 这个人确实有很鲜明的个人色彩，他的政策吧。
Bush has a striking personality. He sticks to his principles and values, which directly influence his policy making. That's why he's continued the war in Iraq when many disapproved. Secondly, he likes to focus on major issues and leave the minor ones to his assistants. That's why he set the record for most days on vacation by any American president.
Although some may argue Bush has an inattentive working style, other analysts say Bush is disciplined and capable of exerting himself when necessary. As the son of a former president, Bush's victory in the election made history. That's because it's extremely rare for both a father and son to become president of the United States.
Bush Sr. took office when the Cold War was coming to an end. He set about constructing a new world order called Pax Americana, which was designed to be in accordance with the interests of both America and other nations. Bush Jr. wanted to continue his father's course, but his blueprint was different because he's inclined to build up an American new empire which aims to maximize U.S. interests and ignore all others.
The U.S. reputation abroad has suffered significantly. While Bush was engaged in wars, emerging countries characterized by Brazil, Russia, India, and China are rising. They form a new force driving the world economy and challenging America's superpower status. But Bush's foreign policy was not a complete disaster. Sino-U.S. ties during his administration reached new heights.
布什是美国历史上访问中国次数最多的一个总统。
Traveling to China 4 times, Bush was an incumbent president who visited China frequently. During his tenure, a series of high-level communication channels have been set up, such as the Strategic Economic Dialogue, the Strategic Dialogue, and the Military Hotline. In addition, there has been little political turbulence in Sino-US ties for nearly 8 years, which is rare in bilateral relations. In summary, Sino-US ties could be hailed as a success of Bush's diplomatic legacy.
At his final press conference, Bush said that his performance should be judged by historians.
Historians will look back and they'll be able to have a better look at mistakes after some time has passed.
But people will make their own judgments. By any standard, the U.S. economy is in bad shape. More than 11 million people are out of work, and the unemployment rate is at a 16-year high. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell by nearly 34% in 2008. That's the worst decline since 1931. 1 in 10 U.S. homeowners have defaulted on their mortgage payments or had their loans foreclosed.
I don't think the president caused the recession, but he certainly was asleep at the wheel when it came.
In Thursday's speech, Bush defended his actions to avert a collapse of the financial system.
When challenges to our prosperity emerged, we rose to meet them. Facing the prospect of a financial collapse, we took decisive measures to safeguard our economy.
Hit by terrorist attacks and the economic downturn, Bush experienced combined challenges rarely witnessed by American presidents in the post-Cold War era. History will be the objective judge on the performance of the 43rd U.S. president.
He hasn't even packed his bag, but already some critics have summarized the Bush legacy as 1 crisis and 2 wars. But Bush believes that his achievements will be acknowledged years later. He likes to draw a comparison with US President Harry Truman, who enjoyed the lowest popularity when he left office, but is remembered by Americans for initiating the Cold War. Bush also launched a war with ideological influence, that is the war against Islamic extremists. But how will he be remembered? Only time will tell. This is World Insight. Coming up next, we're going to take you to Britain for our story on Prince Harry.